I started making money in a sales office in London, cold calling, 100 calls a day, Wolf of Wall Street energy. People getting sacked in the middle of the day, directors doing coke at lunchtime. From there on, that was the foundation for me building a 150 unit portfolio and scaling past £4 million a year in revenue. I now run multiple businesses from Dubai while working 1 to 2 hours per day, and I'll be completely transparent with you. The way I think about money today is completely different to how I thought about it 5, 6, or maybe even 7 years ago. Some of the things that I believed about money when I was grinding in that office, leaving at 8, 9, sometimes even 10 p.m. just to show face, those beliefs were the exact same things that kept me stuck. So today I want to share 5 things with you that running a 7-figure business taught me about money. These aren't things I read in a book. These are lessons that I had to learn by living them. And the 5th one is one that changed my life more than any of the others. When you're starting out, you think money is the goal. When you have money, you realize time is the goal the whole time. You can always make more money, but you can never, ever make more time. Time is the ultimate currency. I was in a recruitment office earning 1, 2, 3, 4K a month. Combined with my wife, we were probably doing about 8 to 10K a month. It wasn't bad money, but I was leaving the office at 9 p.m, showing up early just to show face, even if I wasn't delivering. My health suffered. They told me I couldn't go to the World Cup because somebody else had that week off. That's when I thought to myself, why am I letting someone else control my own time? How can I call myself a grown man and let someone else tell me what to do? The whole reason I left and started the business wasn't because I wanted to make more money. It was because I wanted control of my time. Again, the most valuable commodity that is ever in existence and will ever be in existence. That was always the goal. Money was just the vehicle. Now, how I measure success by how many hours I work, not by how much I earn. I've completely inverted what I used to believe. Time is your most valuable commodity. If somebody's gonna take my time, they have to pay. It's not disrespectful to say that. It's just how I value myself and how I value my life. I don't talk from theory, I talk from practice. I've outsourced absolutely every element of my life possible. Cleaning first, food second. I have a full-time maid and nanny and chef. These are not a luxury. This is a business decision. WhatsApp voice notes, closing deals in the car. That time sitting in traffic used to be dead time. Now it's some of my most productive time. You cannot close deals if your hands are on the steering wheel. Even flights. I will fly business class at an absolute minimum. Not because it's comfortable, it's because when I land, I can be rested. I can close deals that same day. Having a nice car and a watch, that's not the flex. It's having time, that's the only flex. I used to think rich people had more money. Now I know rich people have more time. If you're making good money, but you can't even take a week off, you're not rich, you're trapped. So once I understood that time is the real asset, it changed the questions I started asking myself. I stopped asking, how do I make more money? And I started asking, where is my money actually going? And is it working as hard as I am? And that's when I realized I'd been getting the second part completely wrong. I've put a lot of money into UK property and I've done well. But when I started getting around good people making serious money, I realized the game is completely different at that level. I've got a property portfolio, a mixture of bought properties and rent to rent, and it's done well. It's given me a very good life. But when I started sitting down with people further ahead of me, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs, I realized something. None of them are investing heavily in property anymore. They're deploying capital into things that can multiply faster. The same cash flow that I can make off a rent to rent for 1/10 of the input, I can't get that from purchasing. The speed is completely different. I'm not knocking property. It's built me a very good life. But right now, if someone was to ask me where's a smart play, I do not feel like it's investing into property. People are buying property for £4,000 30, 40 years ago. What worked 20 years ago may not necessarily work today. Even what worked 6 months ago may not necessarily work today. To be successful, you need to be fluid. I used to think the goal was to own things. Now I think the goal is to deploy capital where it multiplies fastest. What feels safe and what is the smart play are often completely different. Now I just told you that there are multiple options on where to put your money. Whether it's wrong, whether it's right, time will tell. But there's one thing that I spent money on that I will never regret, and it's easily the one investment that led to literally everything else. Every property, every business, every pound that I've made since can be tracked and traced back to this one decision. The best money I have ever spent wasn't on a property, it wasn't on a car, it was £14,000 on a credit card when I invested into my mentorship. The reason I used a credit card is because I could not afford it. I had no money. Between my wife and I, we put it on a credit card. We made the decision, by hook or by crook, we have to find a way to be better. The mentor, to be honest, he wasn't even that great. I don't know where he is now, but because we'd paid for it, we knew we had to make it work. And I'm still so grateful because even the small amount of knowledge I gained was enough to accelerate our business from the start, from the ground up. Your desperation to change has to be stronger than your desire for comfort in the same life. That mentorship led to me acquiring my first 5 properties remotely from Dubai without even setting foot inside of them. Every ceiling I'd ever hit came down to one thing: a knowledge gap. Not effort, not talent, a knowledge gap. People DM me all the time saying, I can't afford mentorship. And I think you can't afford to stay where you are. That's the only thing you can't afford. That's what's expensive. Until you have that mindset shift, you will find it difficult to progress. So spending 14K on a credit card led me to getting 5 cash flowing rent to rents from Dubai, which led me to scaling to 150 plus properties, which led to everything. One piece of information, one conversation, one new meeting can give you all of the information that can change your life forever. Because once you hear a new piece of information, guess what? You cannot unlearn it. My wife says exactly the same thing. Mentorship was the best decision we ever made. I still invest in mentors today, not just financial mentors, spiritual mentors, people who've been married longer than me to give marriage advice, people who've raised older kids to give parenting advice. It's not just about money. The shift is, I used to think that spending money on yourself was a risk. Now I know the only risk that you can take, and probably the biggest risk you can take, is not investing in yourself. You're going to pay either way, and that's what most people don't understand. Now the first 3, time over money, investing smarter, investing in yourself. You might have heard versions of those before. And if any of this is landing, please just do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, because I'm going to be sharing a lot more of this kind of content on the channel. These next 2 are the ones that actually shifted how I operate day to day. And I think most people get these completely wrong because they've never been around people who get them right. The people around you and the places you put yourself in directly determine how much money you make. Not indirectly, directly. I've moved to Dubai twice. The first time I was working a job, but even then, seeing 19, 20-year-olds driving Rolls Royces, seeing it was possible out there, it changed my baseline of what I thought I could achieve. The level of discontentment you can feel when you're in a job you hate in Dubai is even worse than in the UK, because in the UK it's normal for everyone to be miserable. In Dubai you can see another life, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Iron sharpens iron. If you're doing well in the UK, complacency can set in. But if you're around people where £1 million a month is disappointing because they're used to £1 million weeks, it really stretches you. I went to see my friend in America recently. He told me, Dami, you're underachieving. He told me, you need to do more. And I love that because I need people like that around me. I almost find peace in the chaos. I have to be stretched all the time or I'm not comfortable. I always say a weak mindset is like a cancer. So I want to stay far, far away from it. I'm very intentional about who I let get close to me. And if people try to get close and I don't see the value there, they're getting a bullet in the face. When I first came to Dubai, I was calling agents from a UAE number, +971 number, and landlords as well. It was a conversation starter. People were asking what I was doing in Dubai. I let them know I was an investor, very serious about investing in the UK. Landlords respected it, agents respected it, developers respected it. That's the kind of credibility that maybe I wouldn't have had living in London. But this is the key. When you change your environment, everything can change. Even practical things, expensive gym membership. These things are spoken about a lot, but it's very important to get yourself around high achievers, business class flights, lounges, nice restaurants, not just for luxury, but for proximity. You're not going to network in cheap places with cheap people. I remember being at Lamborghini's 60th anniversary event. They released a new car, £400,000 car, and it was fully oversubscribed. There is not a lack of money out there. Money is abundant, but it's all about your circumstances. It's all about your environment. Money is everywhere, and there is more money looking for opportunity than opportunity looking for money. I used to think environment was just where you lived. Now I know that environment is the single biggest influence on what you believe is possible. Change your environment, change your life, change your mindset. Every other set will flow from there, your income being the main one. So your environment changes what you believe is possible. But here's the thing. There are people in the right environment, around the right people, making good money, running real businesses, and they're still invisible. Nobody knows who they are. And that's the most expensive problem in business that nobody talks about. And this leads me to point 5 and my favorite, most valuable, most important point of this video. And if you've stayed to this point, you're about to get blessed. The biggest money lesson I've learned, and the hardest one to accept, is that the best product does not win. The best known product wins. Content creation is the best way to display authority and build trust. But if you're not creating content right now, you should take a deep look in the mirror and ask yourself, as a big adult in 2026, why you are not. There is so much upside versus very, very limited downside. People need to know your face. If you want to grow 10 times slower, make it faceless. But if you want to grow properly, put yourself out there. The more hands you shake, the more money you're going to make. I see business owners running successful businesses, making good money, who are terrified to speak on camera. It's baffling to me because they overthink it and they worry about what people will tell them. Then they don't post and they wonder why nobody knows who they are. The question I have for you is, are you going to let your fear of other people's opinions hold you back? Other people's opinions do not pay the bills. And until they do, I suggest you disregard them very, very quickly. What's the quickest way to put your message out there? Social media. How much does it cost to post on social media? Zero. It's completely free. So the only reason people don't do it is because they care too much about what people think. Once again, opinions cannot pay the bills. My own business grew because I documented the journey. I never planned to become a property or a business influencer. I just documented what I was doing and naturally people started reaching out. How did you do that? How did you buy that Porsche? Wow, I've always wanted to do millions of pounds in revenue. I've always wanted to have a successful business. How did you do it? If you're authentic and you document your journey, people are going to reach out. It's only natural. Referrals, investors, clients, all from visibility. I built 150 plus units, but the opportunities that changed the game didn't come from cold outreach. They came from people seeing what I was doing and wanting it. I used to think if you're good enough, the money will come. In 2026, that's not true. Now I know that the money goes to whoever shows up. Visibility is not optional. It's the unlock that makes everything else work. So those are the 5. Time is the real currency, not money. The best investment will always categorically 110% be in yourself. Your environment sets your income, and being known is worth more than being good. If I could go back and tell myself one of these things when I was in that sales office, leaving at 9 p.m, being told I can't go on holiday, it will be the last one. Because visibility is what unlocked everything else. Once people knew who I was and what I was doing, the properties came. The investors came, the business opportunities came, all from the visibility. If this shifted how you think about even one thing, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Drop me a message, dami.dpl, because I'm going to be sharing a lot more of this. I'll see you on the next one.